Oh, there we go. All right, so welcome everybody. I appreciate those of you that have turned out in person, and I know we've got some folks online. Thank you for joining us this evening for the City and County Clerk Candidate Forum. My name is Abby Yelman. I'm the Assistant City and County Manager, and I'm kind of proud that I remembered to introduce myself because usually I forget. So hi to all of you. Thank you for joining us. So if you're here tonight, you know the City and County Clerk position is a critical one within the City and County of Broomfield and in many counties, of course. In Broomfield, this position oversees multiple divisions, including elections, motor vehicle, clerk, and recording. So they wear definitely a lot of hats. We're lucky that they have an amazing staff in all those divisions, some of which are here tonight and joining us. We appreciate you for coming as well tonight. We're fortunate in Broomfield. Broomfield is a nonpartisan county. So we've been fortunate to have the city and county clerk position that is appointed rather than elected. It has kept the position from being politicized, unlike the experiences that others that are in elected positions have experienced nationwide. So we're lucky a little bit in that way. So after conducting an external recruitment for this position and to seek applicants, we are excited to have 3 amazing candidates with us tonight to participate in this forum. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Nikki Macklin, our Director of Human Resources, to kick us off. She'll be moderating tonight's forum and want to wish you all the best of luck. We appreciate you for being here, and I'm sure you all have become close friends because there's a little trauma bonding that happens during those forums. So thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Abby. Good evening. As Abby mentioned, I'm Nikki Macklin, Director of Human Resources. Tonight, we'll be asking all 3 of our clerk candidates a series of questions with the hopes of getting to know them better. Each candidate will answer the same question and will rotate who answers which questions first. Each candidate will have 3 minutes for each question, with the exception of the opening statement, in which candidates will have 4 minutes. Questions will be timed, and Nicole in the back will hold up a time at 1 minute, 30 seconds, 15 seconds, and candidates, we ask that you wrap up once your time has run out. With that, let's jump in and get to know our candidates. Crystal will have you start off with your introduction, and then we'll move to Bill, and then Val will wrap up. So with that, Crystal, will you please share with us who you are and a little bit about your professional bio? There you go. I think it's on now.
Yeah. We're good? Okay, yeah. Okay, my name's Crystal Glemmons. I'm currently serving as the interim city and county clerk. I started with Broomfield last June. My government career started over 20 years ago in Kansas. So I started in Seward County, Kansas as the accounts payable clerk. And in 6 months, I was moved up to the elections deputy. And then within 2 years, the deputy county clerk, where I served for 14 years. So during that time, I served the council, going to every meeting, all meetings for 13 years. The only reason I got out of it the last year was I was elected to the school board and the meetings were the same night. So I got out of the commission meetings after 13 years. During my time at the county, I did everything from voter registration to ballot programming, election judge recruitment and training, all of it. We did it in-house because we were a small county. I was fortunate. My clerk was a big proponent of education. So during that time, I received certification as a public manager from KU, and then master county clerk from WSU, and certified election registration administrator from the election center. At that time, that was where I was born and raised. I thought that that would be my career. I would stay there, retire, but my husband's job took us other places. So we went to Texas for 18 months where I served as the retired senior volunteer program director. I served I oversaw 140 organizations, 1,400 volunteers across 26 counties. So again, his job took us to Oklahoma. In Oklahoma, I was fortunate that I got to work for the state of Oklahoma at the Oklahoma Conservation District. So in that role, I served the governor-appointed commission and then also assisted the 88 conservation districts in their elections. We were there about 18 months, and one more time we got moved to Colorado. Once we hit Colorado, my kids and I told my husband, we're done. This is our home. We're staying. You can travel wherever you like. So we've been here the last 5 years and love it. I started working at Pinnacle Consulting Group, which is a special district management company in northern Colorado. So I was a district manager for 11 special districts, so 11 boards from developer dirt districts to fully developed districts with homeowner boards, and also helped coordinate the elections at that time. So my minute is here, so that wraps up my professional background.
Everybody, my name is Bill Mast. Very happy to be here this evening to share a little bit of information about myself and learn a little bit about the community. I currently work as the voter services manager in Arapahoe County, Colorado. That's the public facing side of the election services down there. If folks call the phone or email us or are seeking any kind of information, we're the ones who provide that. Started my career in public service about 15 years ago in Montrose County, Colorado. About 9 months following that, was named the Assistant Chief Deputy. I ran our motor vehicle division, elections division, and liquor licensing. It was a wonderful opportunity there. Spent about 5 years in that. Since then, I've had plenty of opportunity to work in small, large, and medium-sized counties. Spent 3 years working in Aspen, Colorado for the Pickens County Clerk and Recorder, which is at the time a nonpartisan office. Ran by Janice Foss Caldell, who was an appointed clerk. Spent 5 years working in the public sector, mostly in Alaska, several years here in Colorado, during the statewide implementation of the existing voting system. So if you've heard about us in the news, I was probably in one of those counties. Other than that, I am ecstatic to be here and appreciate you all being here as well. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all for being here today. My name is Valerie Abramovic, and I feel very honored to be sitting here in front of you as a finalist for the Clerk and Recorder position for the City and County of Broomfield. So a little bit about me and my background. I started my career in the private sector working for CarMax. Working at CarMax, I led teams for operations, sales, as well as merchandising. And I was very fortunate to work for that company because they have a strong foundation that's rooted in employee development and talent and engagement. So taking my learnings from there and working with very strong leaders, it just gave me a really great foundation to build off of. I enjoyed my time there, but I felt like there was something missing. And so as I was looking at what I wanted to do next, I felt like I needed to do something to give back to my community. And that is what led me to work in the public sector as the motor vehicle director for Boulder County. Now, if you would have asked me when I was a child, was it my dream to work for the DMV? I probably would have said that it wasn't. But I will say I found an extremely wonderful sense of just community and family. And that's where I found my passion for public service, and I knew that I was in the right place. So working at Boulder County, really inspiring. We were able to accomplish a lot during my time there. We rolled out the new motor vehicle system. We rolled out the renewal kiosk program, as well as various other programs, just focusing on how we could be more efficient while reducing costs, while reducing wait time, because who wants to hang out in the DMV? I mean, I do, but customers maybe not so much. Then as I was looking at what was next, that brought me to my current role at Jefferson County. I was just looking to further my impact a little bit more. And in my current role, I'm the Chief Deputy Clerk and Recorder. And so I manage motor vehicle elections, recording, as well as clerk to the board. And it's extremely inspiring to work there, and they have a great team. So during my time there, we have won 3 national awards for cybersecurity and innovation across multiple divisions. We have more than doubled our drop boxes for elections. We've rolled out bilingual services for our voters. And so I just feel really proud of what we've been able to accomplish there. So as I look at the future and what I'm looking to do next, I want to get back to my roots and what really brought me into the public sector in the first place. And that is the ability to work more with the employees as well as the community we serve. And so I'm very excited to be here today. I'm excited at the prospect of being the next Broomfield Clerk and Recorder. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for sharing a little bit about who you are. We'll move into our lineup of interview questions. And as I mentioned, we'll rotate through the questions in an order as to who of you goes first, second, and third. I will repeat the question for each one of you because I know sometimes it gets lost. So Bill, we'll start out with you. Why are you interested in becoming the City and County Clerk for the City and County of Broomfield?
Thank you. I'm interested in becoming the City and County Clerk of Broomfield because of the wonderful community and wonderful reputation that the staff here has instilled. I have a passion for public service, for elections particularly, but all of the services that are provided by the Clerk and Recorder's Office. We provide the most maybe not the most impactful, but the most public-facing office in any county. We have the most interactions with folks at a service level. We see you on a daily basis. By being involved in the Clerk and Recorder's Office, we have the ability to impact and improve the civic engagement, the level of service, the quality of service, and both our transparency and efficiency impacts every single person that we come in contact with. And I think that those opportunities cannot be spoken any more highly of. So I'm looking forward to that opportunity, and that's what I have.
Val, why are you interested in becoming the City and County Clerk for the City and County of Broomfield?
Thank you for the question. I am interested in becoming the City and County Clerk and Recorder for the City of Broomfield because it's inspiring, the work that we do. I've come to love it. I think we are living in a time where things have been highly politicized. And yet I still feel a passion for what we do on a daily basis. I love helping customers that come into the motor vehicle offices and that are showing up to further our democracy by voting. It makes me really excited. And so specifically with Broomfield, when I was researching what I wanted to do next and I saw Broomfield's mission statement, a couple of words that really stood out to me were respect and efficiency. And I value both of those things very much. And so Broomfield felt like the right fit. And fortunately, during this process, I've had a chance to meet with multiple leaders throughout Broomfield, as well as the Clerk and Recorder staff. And it feels like family. It feels very tight knit and like a good group of people. And so I am just hoping to further build on the strong foundation that's already here. Thank you.
Crystal, why are you interested in becoming the city and county clerk for the city and county of Broomfield?
I think it's just a wonderful opportunity. Working in Broomfield for over the last year, like I have, you really see the commitment that CMO and leaders in Broomfield have to staff and to make sure that they support us and they help us and want us to grow. And I want to continue to be a part of that team and also just to provide the leadership for our team. We have great people, strong people. Penny and her elections team, they've got it completely under control. So I just want to be able to provide support and remove obstacles that just make their jobs even easier. Same thing for Motor V. We just have an amazing team. So I want to continue to be a part of that team and just help that we can continue to do great things like we're doing now every day.
Val, what unique skills do you bring to the position, and what benefit will the community or the organization derive from your skills?
Great question. So I would say what I bring to this role. So I have 12 plus years of experience working through challenging times and working through challenging situations and finding the win-win and coming out and helping everybody feel like they're in a good place. And so as I think back through my career, I led Jefferson County Clerk and Recorder through the COVID pandemic. And that was a really scary time for many people, especially towards the beginning. And so I would say my leadership there and the trust that I built helped my people know that I was there for them and I was showing up for them and I was going to listen to their concerns. Beyond that, I have the functional knowledge and background. I've worked in the clerk and recorder's office in some manner since 2017. And I've loved every minute of it. And so the ability to continue the work I've done, but in another place, and not just to say you're, doing anything wrong, but hey, how can we help you be better as an employee? How can we help services be better for our constituents? That is what really drives me. I have a passion for that, and it makes me really excited. I've done many of those things already in my career, and I'm excited to hear the ideas that constituents and employees have here.
Crystal, sorry. Crystal, what unique skills do you bring to the position, and what benefit will the community or organization derive from your skills?
I think I bring over 20 years of experience in government. Not only the experience, but also the education opportunities I've had to enhance those skills. It's also it seems like a bad thing, but with the moving, a diversity of different experiences that I think help just give you different perspectives. I think right now, what helps me is that I feel like I have a good rapport with our team, and I feel like I have a good rapport with our CMO and our department heads, and that we've already been doing great things every day, and we're just going to be able to continue to do those great things that we're working on.
Bill, what unique skills do you bring to the position, and what benefit will the community or organization derive from your skills?
Yeah, thank you. So I think one of the biggest things that I can bring to the organization that's already very successful in what you do and the services that are provided here is the very large amount of exposure and experience I've had working with numerous organizations providing similar services, not just in Colorado, even though I have worked in several counties and within the state. I've had the opportunity to work with organizations in Utah and Alaska and California and Arizona and Pennsylvania and throughout the country. And they all have opportunities to share information with us. Crystal mentioned the certified election and registration program through the Election Center, which I also participated in. And it's just a wonderful degree of exposure and knowledge sharing that we have with our professional peers. And those kinds of exposures and experiences, both in the public sector and the private sector, leading large scale implementations, are something that I have to share with this community and these offices. We do have new programs that are being rolled out just last year with the adoption of ranked choice voting. This is something that I've already done in other places. It's something that I have experience, knowledge, and both good and bad learning opportunities to share with the organization and community.
Crystal, what do you believe is the greatest challenge or challenges facing city and county clerks over the next few years?
For us, especially right now, we have probably a third of our staff that will hit retirement age within the next 5 to 10 years. So I think when you start looking at that, that's a ton of knowledge that's going to walk out the door. So how do we harness that and pass that knowledge on to others? We've had conversations with some staff of how we break down those silos. When you've got motor V and recording staff and city and election, they're all very specialized in their positions. So it's very siloed. So how do we break that down? How do we open up that communication more? And then how possibly stop that burnout to where maybe if someone could retire, they would stay on a little bit longer and continue to work and share that knowledge. So I think that will be the biggest one for Broomfield. Nationally, I think just elections is always going to be controversial, just trying to prove to people that we do run fair and secure elections. And I think we did that recently with the recount. Penny and her team did a great job showing that what we do is accurate. And so we just need to continue to educate on our processes. And I think it will help break down some of those miscommunications that people hear in the media.
Bill, what do you believe is the greatest challenge or challenges facing city and county clerks over the next few years?
I think this is such an amazing question because there are so many challenges that we face on a regular basis, but it's an evolving kind of challenge. I think in the election sphere, like when I started many moons ago, we had so few legislative changes. The pace of change, the pace of those new demands on each of our offices, new implementations in the Drives program for motor vehicle, new recording software, and new technology. These are all things that we can anticipate and see and prepare for. So I think these challenges, it's important to acknowledge them, but also know that our community members, as things evolve in the political sphere, even though we are a nonpartisan office, our citizens have concerns. They want to know what's going on in our offices. They want to have that civic engagement that is oh so important to every service that we provide. And by providing and communicating that information, we can create transparency that shows the level of security that encourages the scrutiny from our community members so that they know, hey, we're doing everything that you want us to do and so much more. Let us show you. Challenges, including things such as the COVID-19 pandemic or the housing crisis in 2008, where we had things that were not anticipated, and being able to adopt new procedures, policies, practices to still be able to provide the same excellent level of service that that all of our community members have come to expect from our public servants, but also create an environment where we avoid those burnout moments, where we're supportive of our team members and staff, because they are the ones making those services possible and providing them. Thank you.
Val, what do you believe is the greatest challenge or challenges facing city and county clerks over the next few years?
Specific to city and county clerks, I feel that the biggest challenge we face is building trust back with the people that we serve. We're living in a time where I've talked to many people that they can't even talk to their grandparents or their son because it's just so political that it turns into a heated argument instead of a discussion. And so when we think about elections and all of the controversy that we have seen in the news surrounding what we're doing, that is the one thing that comes to mind. In Colorado, we do run secure and fair and safe elections. It's been proven time and time again in every single county, thanks to our wonderful elections teams and this model that we have that is the national staple. That being said, not everybody watches just local news. They hear the things that are happening nationally. And so I think that what we really need to focus on is continuing to educate and build that trust back for the people that we serve, because that's why we're here. Thank you.
Bill, how do you build relationships and foster trust with your department and internal partners, as well as the community and external partners? Can you please tell us about a specific example?
Yeah, I'm probably going to have a couple examples, but I think the most important thing that we can do to encourage these relationships within our internal colleagues, our community partners, is communication. We want folks to feel like they have a voice. We want to make sure that we are listening to their concerns, but also let them know what is happening in the evolving environment that we work in on a daily basis. A lot of times with our colleagues within any organization, they have a bit of visibility where they see what their interaction is with you or with their other peers, but not necessarily what's going on as a whole. And so increasing that transparency, increasing that visibility, and encouraging that voice within our community, with our peers, and with our colleagues, I think those are the most important things that we can do to help foster those relationships.
Val, how do you build relationships and foster trust with your department and internal partners, as well as the community and external partners? Can you please provide us with a specific example?
Yes, great question. So building trust is something that I care very much about. When I come into an organization, that is the first thing that I start to try and institute is that trusting relationship. So when I come into a new organization, I sit down and I just observe. I seek to understand why things are done the way that they are and the historical context behind that. I lean on people that are the subject matter experts within an organization. And so, you know, just building that trust of that I'm going to be vulnerable and come to you and say when I need to understand something, and that it's all about communication. It's all about collaboration in that two-way street, I find has been extremely helpful for me throughout my career. I think we do it with our external stakeholders by being transparent with them. The specific example that comes to mind for me with building trust is something that we implemented in our elections division in Jefferson County. As I mentioned with the previous question, everything around elections and the disinformation, we were getting those questions. And so when we got those phone calls where people were yelling at us, instead of getting upset about it, we sought to understand why are they feeling this way and what can we do to turn them around, and if there is a way. And so we started to invite them in to see our process. We started doing elections tours with them. And we also implemented a watcher program to where they could come in and see exactly what we were doing because we're not hiding anything. And that transparency and that level of support that we were able to provide and give them knowledge really helped us build a good sense of trust with our community. It's one by one. And so it's something that we still do on a daily basis when we get those phone calls, or a yearly basis, I should say, as elections approach. But it's exciting when you have that person that is really struggling to understand, and you can talk to them at the end of the day and they say, wow, I didn't realize you did all of this. That's great to see. I think that more than anything, it just really brings a smile to my face and makes me excited.
Crystal, how do you build relationships and foster trust with your department and internal partners, as well as the community and external partners? Can you please provide us with a specific example?
I think we have to be genuine. I think we have to be consistent, just showing up every day and being there for your people, for the community. And I think you have to be transparent. And my example of that, when I worked in Kansas, I did all of the elections items. We were a small county, so I did all the ballot programming. At the time, we had implemented the AccuVote touchscreen systems. So that meant each machine had a card that was programmed before the election. Before the election, you also run a test on those. So you do test votes and that data is tracked on the card. When you get ready for the election, you reset it and set for election, it clears the card. The day of the election, my clerk had decided, I don't think we need as many machines. So we had some extra cards. You go through a long day, you're going, the cards that did not get uploaded did not get reset to election day. So they remained on test. Those totals got mixed in with the election ones and got uploaded for election totals. So nothing like making your heart just drop the next day when the Secretary of State's office calls you and says, why do you have more votes than you have voters? So panic. We worked with our vendor Dominion and we got it figured out. We were able to identify which cards were the test cards. And we just owned it. The media came in, people were in, we explained what happened. We were able to show them the process of how we identified the test cards. We were able to explain how we corrected the situation, and we were able to create processes so it wouldn't happen again. And I think just by being transparent like that and owning it, they didn't rip us apart in the paper the next day. And people did trust us more because we were open, we were honest, and we explained the process.
Val, what do you bring to the organization that will up-level the teams you'll support?
Can you repeat that one more time?
Sure. What do you bring to the organization that will up-level the teams you'll support?
That's a great question. I've never received that one before. So I would say what I bring to an organization that's going to up-level the team support. I would say that first and foremost, I'm a servant-based leader. I'm here to come in and to help you and to help you realize where you want to be and reach those aspirations. It's something that is the foundation of who I am as a leader. And so I'm here to provide, I have experience in the private sector. I have experience in the public sector. Some things work for Jefferson County that wouldn't work here. And same goes the other way. And so I would say that experience also coupled with the vulnerability of saying when I don't know the answer. I think that's the type of support I bring, because then we can brainstorm together, we can figure it out together. And so it's not just me growing and learning from that experience, it's the fact that I'm partnering with the people in my organization and helping to support them and grow them as well. Thank you.
Crystal, what do you bring to the organization that will up-level the teams you'll support?
As I've said, I have over 20 years experience in government and multiple certifications that I believe provide value to this role as well. But then I think we're probably all servant leaders or as in the roles that we like to do every day. So I want to just continue to empower my team and remove the roadblocks and the hurdles that they can just keep being successful and providing the great service that they're doing every day now.
Bill, what do you bring to the organization that will uplevel the teams you'll support?
I agree. This is such an interesting question. I do think that I bring a lot of opportunities to up level, and that not only have I had just broad exposure to various sized offices from less than 500 people in a county to millions of customers that we have to service on a daily basis. The thing that grows a team is that listening and engagement component. I'm not going to have all of the answers, regardless of any exposure or experience that I've had in my professional career or learning from my peers. It's important to listen to our teams and our community because they are the ones that we're serving. We serve each other as colleagues, and we serve our community as servant leaders. And so I think by listening, by engaging, by encouraging that engagement and not just having a blind ear to the wall. I don't know if that makes any sense, but like we get these communications, we get people with concerns. We want to make sure that their voices aren't silenced. And so we want to listen, and we want to be able to share our knowledge, both with our teams and peers, but also with our community. And that's what helps grow our team into new positions and successes.
Crystal, professionally, what are you most proud of?
I think in all of my roles, it's the people I've been able to mentor. It's amazing what people can do with just a little bit of support and push and guidance. I've also been very fortunate to work with some amazing teams on some great projects. Seward County, at one of the census, we were notified that we'd be a bilingual county. We were notified in August after our primary and had to have all of our election materials translated in bilingual by the November. Well, you think November, but then we had to have it done before we had UOCABA out, before advanced ballots went out. So very short window. During that time, we developed a bilingual voting action plan that won a NACO award. We also won another award because we collaborated with the 6 other counties that had the same requirement, and they implemented our bilingual voting action plan. We were able to serve on state task force to also guide the other counties of the state. So when they got ready, if they had to implement the bilingual, they would have a plan and know what to do. Just throughout, like even at RSVP, we developed a 5-year strategic plan. When we developed that plan, it was to increase volunteers, and not only volunteers, but the opportunities they had within the Texas Panhandle. At the Oklahoma Conservation Commission, I got to help streamline their agenda process. And it was simple, but it was a big deal to the commission at the time. And even with Broomfield now, I got to work on a team that we've been working since last October, November, and we got the records retention schedule for the city and county of Broomfield now approved. So that was a big accomplishment. Also worked on the agenda management software that we're going to be implementing, and we're in the process of licensing software as well. So I think it's not me as an individual, it's just the people I've had the opportunity to work with and the teams that I've got to engage with.
Bill, professionally, what are you most proud of?
Thank you. I think the professional accomplishments that I'm most proud of, among the many, many hats that you get the opportunity to wear working in a clerk and recorder's office, is the education component. We are tasked with onboarding hundreds of bipartisan election workers on a regular basis. We have the opportunity to onboard our teams and colleagues. And in my most recent private sector work, one of the many hats that I got to wear in addition to project management was a training component. And I had the opportunity to travel around the country, informing folks and making sure that they had the tools and knowledge to be successful in their administrative functions. Watching my colleagues and peers and election workers grow and be successful based off of that engagement is something that I value at my core. It is something that has been so important to me throughout my professional career that I can't imagine not having that. And so I'm very, very proud of that. Thank you.
Val, professionally, what are you most proud of?
I am the most proud of what I have been able to accomplish by collaborating with the leaders in my organization currently. We have bettered the lives of the 100 plus employees in the clerk and recorder's office. When I came into my role and George, our clerk and recorder, was elected into the position, it was very much a culture of distrust. Employees would not step forward with ideas that they had. They were afraid of being retaliated against for voicing any concerns that they had with the organization or any ideas that they had that deviated from the norm. And that was a huge undertaking to try and completely change a culture that had been in that organization within just 3 years. And I'm happy to say that we've been able to do that. It really started with coming in and observing and talking to people and giving them avenues where they felt like their voice could be heard, and learning that just because they voiced an idea, they weren't going to be retaliated against in some way. And so starting to do anonymous feedback and anonymous forums and what ideas do you have? That was a big piece of it. Rewarding people when they came up with ideas and when we used those ideas, because at the end of the day, I might have some ideas and things that I want to do, but I'm not the one that's sitting in front of those customers on a daily basis. My employees know what customers need much better than I do. They have that window into exactly what is happening in the offices on a daily basis. And so through working with our employees and our leaders and just listening to them, we completely changed that organization. And now people freely share ideas, and there are multiple groups that meet to figure out what we can do to better them. And we have mentor programs that we've implemented, and we have new employee onboarding teams that we have, so that when we bring new people into an organization, which can be intimidating for people, they're partnered with somebody, and that's essentially their person, kind of like their buddy throughout their time onboarding with us. And so it's just created from that very initial stage when somebody starts with us, that we have a community of trust in our organization. And I'm just so proud that we were able to completely change that. Thank you.
Bill, what do you need to be the best version of yourself?
So I think one of the things that encourages me the most is the honest and challenging conversations. I thrive when I can have partnerships and relationships with folks that don't necessarily hold their punches back. We want to know, or at least I want to know, how can I be better? How can I be a better communicator? How can I be a better listener, because everybody that we work with on a daily basis is going to need something a little bit differently from us. And so by having those open, frank conversations, I can stretch to meet them at their level, at their need for that moment. And so without those honest conversations and folks who are willing to be that frank, because it's not always encouraged personally or professionally. That's what I need, and that's what helps me be the best version of me.
Val, what do you need to be the best version of yourself?
What I need to be the best version of myself is what I found working in the public sector, and that is community. I think that the community lifts each other up, they lift me up. And to echo a little bit of what Bill said, we challenge each other. And I think that's great. And that is what we need to help push things forward and push innovation and keep coming up with new ideas for how we can be better. We found so many efficiencies through working with our community. And it's really exciting to see. And so in order to be the best version of myself, I need that sense of community around me to challenge me and to push me. And I've certainly found that so far working in the public sector. Thank you.
Crystal, what do you need to be the best version of yourself?
I think trust and commitment, and I think it's not only for me, but I want to give that to my team. I want my team to give that to me, and I'm going to give everything I have to my team, to a project, to everything within Broomfield to make sure we're successful, not only as a team or on a project, but as a community. So I think when we have that trust and commitment for each other, then it's going to be just circular, that we're going to make sure that we're all successful and just win and accomplish the goals that we want to.
Thank you, candidates. That wraps up our line of questions. We will now allow each of you to have 3 minutes to provide any closing comments. Val will have you go first, then Crystal, and then Bill will have you close.
Thank you. So again, I would just like to reiterate, I really appreciate you all taking the time to be here and to listen to myself as well as the other finalists. This is a sense of community. And I can tell that through the questions that were asked, they were very thoughtful. And I've found in my experience that, you know, a community that is mindful and thoughtful is a community that thrives. And I can definitely see that here in Broomfield. So government and elections in general has certainly faced a lot of scrutiny over the past couple of years. And so I am excited at the prospect of continuing my work in the government sphere to combat that mistrust and the disinformation that we've faced. I have 12 plus years experience, as I mentioned, overcoming these types of situations. Through working at Jeffco, the COVID pandemic, we not only survived that, but our team thrived through it. And what I will say is I didn't do that alone. I did that because I had strong, mindful leaders helping me every step of the way. Through this process, I have been able to meet many leaders here in Broomfield County, City and County of Broomfield. And it's been wonderful. And I see that. And I can see that we put so much thought and intention into who we bring into these roles. And so I'm just excited that I could potentially be the next clerk and recorder and have the ability to work with these people. And that is just something that really excites me at that prospect. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
Crystal?
Thank you, everyone, for attending tonight and being part of the process. Thank you for staff for being part of the process as this has been ongoing, and CMO, Nicole, all your work on it. I bring 21 years experience in government, plus all the certifications. The big benefit I think I bring is that I've got the rapport with our team right now. I've worked to build the rapport with CMO, with department heads, and we are doing great things every day for Broomfield. And we're just going to continue to do great things for Broomfield without missing a beat, because we're just going to keep going business as usual like we've been doing every day now. So I look forward to continuing this journey with Broomfield, hopefully as the next city and county clerk, and just providing that great service internally and externally.
Bill?
Well, thank you all. Again, I'd like to reiterate the fact that this entire process has been so incredibly engaging, both from the staff and the community and my colleagues up here speaking with you tonight. It's been tremendous. I am incredibly honored and excited to be sitting up here in this forum, and hope to be able to continue these conversations with the community and with this team. I would like to continue with the venture of listening, engaging, and encouraging transparency. Not that all of those things aren't already currently here. I just think that there's always room for more civic engagement, for more involvement, and for more communication and learning opportunities. So I appreciate you all, and I appreciate these folks. Thank you.
Bill, Val, and Crystal, thank you so much for your time and interest in the city and county of Broomfield. We've enjoyed learning about your experience and your leadership philosophies and all that you have to offer the city and county of Broomfield. Jake, Greg, Nicole, thank you so much for your support tonight, for our PD support tonight as well, keeping us safe. For the audience, for the staff, for the community, thank you all for being here and showing your interest in this process. We thank you all for being here, and we wish you all a good evening. And with that, we will adjourn.